Hello everyone and welcome to this brand new series for FabTCG.com with myself, Hayden Dow, and Brennan Patrick over here. We're the hosts of a weekly competitive flesh and blood podcast called Arsenal Pass and a YouTube channel of the same name. You know, we do all things from deck techs to deck guides and everything sort of competitive flesh and blood and getting better at flesh and blood. This is the first in a series that we're going to be doing here for FabTCG.com over this ProQuest season, where we're going to be running in some top meta decks into each other, talking about these decks, how to beat them, the strategies to play, and see who comes out victorious. So first up, we've got two of the big dogs of sort of the first week or two of the ProQuest season. I'm going to be on Bravo Star of the Show, the new kid on the block, and Brennan, you're going to be on Prism. So why don't you tell us a little bit about, this Prism deck that you're playing, the list you have here, and some of the main game plans and differences between maybe this Prism and previous Prism lists that we've seen in Flesh and Blood.
Yeah, so Prism was definitely one of the classes that, looking at the Everfest card pool and spoilers, looked like it was going to be a winner. We got a bunch of big upgrades in the form of Miraging Metamorph, a couple of the Heralds as well, and a bunch of zero-cost auras, which is going to be sort of the ethos of the deck you're going to see today. I got my list mostly from UK National Champion Matthew Fox, who won a ProQuest last weekend. But yeah, like I said, we're going to be playing Aura Prism, looking to stick multiple auras on the board per turn and kind of keep our opponent a turn behind. The Guardian Prism matchup is notoriously bad for that exact reason, but Bravo Star of the Show does have a little bit more game because you can't get go again on that ability. One thing I really like about the new auras is that, in a sense, they're kind of sticky weapons, right? So previously, your Spectral Shields could be destroyed by your opponent playing aggressively into you, but now you can have things that can function as weapons on the field that can only be destroyed, for the most part, by your opponent consuming an entire action point. So that's very good, but like I said, trying to get those auras out, and yeah, the meta looks really good for Prism so far. It performed well last weekend in week one of ProQuest. There's a lot less Briar running around since the bans and erratas. So the meta, it looks like a good meta call. It's very good into Guardian, and yeah, it's an overall just strong deck with a lot of the upgrades.
Yeah, so if I was looking to target Prism, right, like I wanted to beat Prism in this format, Brendan, what are sort of 3 tips that you can give for playing into Prism or trying to attack it, be it cards, style of play, decks to play?
Yeah, sure. So probably one of the worst decks to play are decks that go tall. So traditionally Guardian, Warrior, things like this. But generally you want to be clearing auras if you can. You don't want to have 2 auras on the board or 3, because once Prism double auras you and kind of maintains that advantage of being what we would like to call a turn ahead, it's very hard for you to clear 2 on 1 turn. That's really where they solidify the advantage. This is somewhat contextual based on the Prism player's life total and where you're at in the game. There are points in which you will probably maybe ignore auras and just try to do a lot of damage face. But most of the time, I would say 90% of the time, it is going to be correct to actually just break that aura on the end of your combat chain or just with your action point that turn. There's a lot of decks out in the meta right now. Like I said, they're able to go wide, so we think about immediately Viserai, but also decks like Dash, Katsu. Those are traditionally quite good into Aura Prism, as well as toolbox cards. So you have cards like Blink, Lead the Charge. These can be pretty good for helping you clear multiple auras per turn, as well as what we might see on the other side of the board, Time Skippers. I haven't seen your armor quite yet, Hayden, but that is another example of a toolbox card. What about Bravo Star of the Show, Hayden? What are some of the key play patterns and ways you're looking to play into this Prism deck?
Yeah, so Bravo Star of the Show has been kind of since the Star City games, the first, I guess, event of this season that we saw has kind of been the breakout deck, right? It uses this elemental fusion, playing a lot of elemental cards, usually 14 to 16 of each of the 3 elements to activate this Bravo Star of the Show ability. That's the real key of what this deck wants to do, and then present big hitting threats with that Dominate and the +2 that take cards out of the opponent's hand, like Crippling Crush or Spinal Crush to stop the opponent from activating their game plan. Then that Go Again can allow you to come in with Winter's Wail as well. So that's really what the game plan of Bravo Star of the Show is, and that's what I'm going to be trying to do today as well. This is very much a traditional list. This is I've taken this list from the first Australian ProQuest winner, Jesse, who won the Adelaide event this past weekend, week 1 of ProQuest. If I was to say, 3 things that I think about when I'm trying to attack Star of the Show into this meta, Bravo Star of the Show, one of the big things is try not to play into the game plan. So Star of the Show really wants to, come in with these big attacks, but on the off turns, the deck does defend pretty well. You've got Crown of Seeds, You've got the ram part of the ram's head or stalagmite if you want, and you can actually defend up pretty reasonably. So on the off turns, Bravo, I draw an elemental hand, and I've got those weaker cards in my hand and no big threat. If I can defend up, that's great. But if my opponent's not letting me do that by not playing into my game plan, maybe they're being really defensive, or they are trying to go around it, maybe with a bunch of auras, is one way to attack it. So yeah, instead I think one of the best ways to attack Bravo, rather than trying to play into the game plan of like trade damage and block and attack a little bit, is to be on the end of the spectrum, be hyper aggressive or hyper defensive, and just try and pressure the board, maybe with things like auras or items to try and go around Star of the Show a little bit. So that's it, Brendan. Let's get into it and play our first game here with Star of the Show into Prism. Would you like odd or even?
I'll take odd.
All right, odd it is. What would you like to do?
I will go first.
All right. I would have preferred to have gone first. It's true. It's true.
I could imagine. For sure. It is very nice to be going first as the Prism player in this matchup. We do have a bit of an atypical armor setup that may become typical as we head more into this meta. We actually have the Arcanite Skull Cap, so no Halo of Illumination. We have the Findel Spring Tunic, and actually Ironhide Gauntlet. So maybe will help us kind of be able to have a pivot turn against this big Bravo deck late in the game, but we will see. All right, Hayden, are you ready?
Let's do it.
Okay. I'm going to start out by pitching Celestial Cataclysm and Genesis to play Genesis, and then we definitely will not swing because we're not going to let Bravo filter. I'll play a Shimmers, and it's your go.
So basically the ideal turn one, right? Like the double aura is exactly what Prism wants to do into this matchup, yeah. And in fact, into most matchups, we're going first, right?
Mm-hmm.
So for us, I mean, not much we can do on Brendan's turn since he's just kind of, played out his hand there, got the double auras. So for us, it's just going to be ticking up the Tunic on our turn. And we're just going to...
I think Bravo is definitely one of those heroes you do not want to let filter on turn 0 like that.
That's true. I would have liked to have. If I'd found another blue, we could have potentially cleared both auras there. So for us, we're just going to... Whenever I can Bravo Star of the Show ability, that's going to be my priority. But otherwise, I'm just going to try and clear these auras and just try and hinder Brennan's game plan on my off turns if we can. So that's what we'll start by doing. We'll come in with this Lightning Surge from hand and just coming in at the Genesis there to break the Spectra.
Sure. And
then I'll just move to end turn.
You are all good to end turn.
Just in case you got another aura, All right, all yours.
Okay, I will take my Tunic up. Just play a Merciful Retribution, pitching Coalescence Mirage and Shimmers of Silver at instant speed. And then I'll follow up with a Haze Bending and say, your go.
No attacks into me.
We consume our action point, and I did not have go again if I was going to swing.
Oh, it wasn't a yellow you pitched. It was a red Coalescence. Yeah. Okay, fair enough. All right, we're facing 3 auras. So just at the end of your turn, I'm just thinking, so one of the things we can do is we can use the Crown of Seeds to filter through cards potentially and try and find maybe, either a threat or maybe the third element that we need for Bravo Star of the Show, which might be quite important considering Brennan's had a reasonable start here. Actually, what we're going to do is we have a hand that can break 2 auras, so we're not going to do that. So just my turn, we're going to tick up the Tunic.
Yes, sir.
I'm going to go ahead and pitch Spinal Crush and Autumn's Touch. And I'm going to come with Winter's Wail in at first of all, the Merciful, because that's going to give you the ability to deal me damage once I break other auras. And then in response, I'm going to play Blink to gain an action point before that Spectra breaks.
Sure. So 1 Arcane, and this will go to Soul.
Yep. So I'll go down
and I will create a Spectral Shield off of Haze Bending.
I'll go down to 39. So we have the Null and Boots, so we could prevent it if I had extra resources. Fortunately, I don't have any extra resources. We're going to be using everything this turn. And then we'll come in with the Lightning Surge we're going to come in with the Shimmers, I think, here. Okay. Yeah, we'll come in with the Shimmers.
Sure. I'll get down the Spectral Shield.
And just pass the turn there.
Sure. Tunic up for me on my turn. I'm going to play Miraging Metamorph and pitch yellow Wartune Herald.
You have still 2 cards in hand, right?
2 cards in hand, 1 resource floating.
Yeah, so we could... Always threatening to break this one. If we break this one, Brennan's already going to be able to copy that Haze Bending. And if he has a blue plus another, maybe it's a Genesis or another Merciful, you get to copy that as well. So we're usually inclined just to take these ones.
Yeah, it's quite punishing.
Yeah,
if I have the blue plus the other aura, like a double Merciful can just be game losing, to be honest, at this point.
Very true. Just whether we want to... that's okay. So we'll take 7 there, down to 32.
Down to 32 it is. And then we will play Fractal Replication.
Oh, interesting. Was not expecting that. So this copies Mirage Metamorph, it's going to be the exact same thing.
Yes, sir. And I still have the 1 resource floating.
Yep. So the resource floating, and you have go again, of course.
So already on display, some of the power Prism has gotten from Everfest. Mirage Metamorph and a Fractal Replication, one of the most powerful things you can do. Another one that comes to mind is the old Herald of Erudition and the Fractal Replication, if it is for some reason blocked with armor and a card.
No defense. Take another 7.
Down to 25.
25, yep. Big turn, this one.
Sure. And then I will swing for 1.
Yep, take 1. 24.
Sure. And then just 1 and 1 with these Spectral Shields.
Okay, so 2 separate instances. Just deciding if I want to crown and maybe use this rampart on these 2. I'm worried about Brennan having another aura, and maybe at that point I need to gamble to try and find... We're missing a 3rd element for Bravo Star of the show this turn, but we would have a pretty good turn anyway, so...
I am questioning my Arcanite Skullcap choice of armor, but I guess it's there when you need it, right? So when you're behind.
Very true.
But I guess if you double aura every turn, it's pretty good.
Yep.
Some really cool... Go ahead.
I'm going to crown. Activate the crown.
Yep.
So we have 2 resources available. Draw a card. Quite what I was looking for.
You said you found what you're looking for?
No, not quite. All right. We'll use the rampart to defend 1, and then crown will take care of the second one.
Sure. And I'm going to go ahead and Arsenal here.
All right. Take up Tunic. No Bravo ability, unfortunately. Use Tunic and Autumn's Touch, and I'm going to try and pressure these shields if I can, because those are going to start to get a little bit scary, and we'll come with Break Ground Red for 7.
Break Ground Red for 7.
Yeah, so using the Tunic here so that I can keep a card for Arsenal, and I have a Pulse in my hand, which I would like to hold on to because I really want to be able to fuse next turn and present a threat, so that's going to give us 2 of those 3 elements we need. For sake of the Tunic, which I think is definitely worth it.
Okay, I'll take 5. First Blood.
Yep, so 35. 2 shields.
35 plays 24.
We'll pass the turn there.
Sure. Very good to pass the turn.
Arsenal.
Pitch this Coalescence Mirage to come in with Herald of Triumph for 6.
Okay. 3 cards still in hand. Go again. Yeah, I'm going to defend with Break Ground. So it does have 7 power, so even though it gets -1, it's still going to trigger that Phantasm.
Cool. I will consider. Yep. That will get Phantasmed. I won't pay, but I will Tunic, pitch a blue, and play an Ode to Wrath. And Arsenal, pass to you.
Okay.
Unless you want to do something on my turn.
I don't think we want to. I think we want to... Nope, that's fine.
Sure.
Start of turn, we'll take up this Tunic. We're going to activate Bravo. So we're going to reveal to Bravo. It's not actually active, but we'll reveal Pulse of Eisenloft and Blue Lightning Surge.
Sure.
So we now have this Bravo ability. And then we definitely want to try and clear that Ode, I think. But can we also present some damage? So we'll pitch the Lightning Surge, and we'll come in with Autumn's Touch for 9. Dominate, go again with the Bravo ability.
Move to reactions.
Yeah, sure.
I'll respond with an Arc Light Sentinel, and I'll be taking 9 here.
Okay.
26.
26. Plays 24. Yep.
Yes, sir.
All right. Well, we have to clear the Arc Light now. Yeah. Winter's Whale comes in at the Arc Light and
Sure.
kicks it off.
Haze bending trigger.
Yep. Haze bending trigger.
Spectra shield.
And then I'll bust it.
All right. So starting the turn with we'll take our tunic up to 1. I'm going to activate Prism's ability, banish Merciful Retribution from my soul, get another Spectral Shield token, and then I will swing for 1 with Haze Bending, threatening 2 from the Ode to Wrath.
Yeah, it's pretty good combination of cards there.
Yeah, Haze Bending is much better than I thought it was at first glance.
Yeah. All right, bit of a decision on our part. Since these are all threatening 2 because of the Ode, so we'd take 1 and we'd lose a life. I would prefer not to do that if we can help it. But it just depends on what I feel like I can do on my turn. And yeah. Fortunately, we don't have... Our elemental cards we've drawn this turn are not very good, so I think as much as I have this nice Awakening in my arsenal, I'd love to go and set up a big turn with Awakening. We have no chance of activating Bravo, and that's a bit of a problem. So I'm going to activate Crown of Seeds, first of all. 2 resources left, I'll draw a card.
Yep.
Then, how do we want to do this? We'll activate the Rampart, and we'll defend for 1 here on the first one.
Sure. Coming in for 1?
Yeah, sure. So, Crown will prevent the 1 after I declare no defense.
Sure. 2 more instances?
Yeah, happy to take 4 there. So, 1 and 1, and then 1 and 1, down to 20.
Now 20.
I say happy. I'm not that happy, but it's fine.
I'll slap a shimmer.
Oh, no. Okay. All right. Yeah, unfortunately, it's life loss, so we can't do anything. We can't null room boots or anything. That's for the merciful plays. All right, 26 plays 20. Over to me.
Yep. Yes, sir.
All right, let's take up. We're just going to come with a Spinal Crush for 9.
At me.
Yep, at you. I would like to clear some auras, but I want to try and put pressure on these shields if we can. It's going to be hard for Brennan to come in with all these auras and stop Spinal, so I think this is a reasonable position. One of the really interesting things about this matchup for me is like the golfing games between where you activate Bravo Star of the Show ability multiple times early and we maybe only get it once or twice. I think they're quite different games. So you can see like done it once now. We've had some pretty reasonable turns, and Brennan's had some pretty good turns. It's a pretty close game overall.
Yeah, it's gonna be tight. Coming in for a 9.
Or is it pulling away a little bit though?
Okay, I'm gonna respond to that. Spinal Crush for 9. I'll play a Merciful Retribution.
Dread. Okay.
And I'll say no blocks.
Okay, that's fine. So take
19.
7 to 19. And then I'm just thinking about the triggers on Merciful, seeing as it is it would be 4 damage because of Ode, and we could stop it with Nara and Boots. Problem is I feel like this card is pretty important for us and what we want to do. The good thing is Brennan won't be able to come in with Go again. Of course, Spinal Crush is hitting, so we could just be in a position where we're just trying to race out the end of this game now, which is really hard with Merciful and Ode out, that's all. We need this card in Arsenal though, so yeah, we'll take 4 down to 16. That's going to be 1 and 1, 1 and 1.
Sure.
He plays 19.
And I lose my shields.
You lose your shield. Your turn.
All right. On my turn, I'm going to swing for 2 at you with Haze Bending.
So 1, and if it hits, I'm going to lose a life, right? Oh no, Shimmer's right. It is just straight up 2.
But it could be 3 as well. I feel like Prism is the instant speed dash nowadays, just assembling.
A bit like that. I think what we're going to do is we're just going to go ahead and... I don't even care about this damage. I mean, I do care about it, but...
I feel like a Crater Fest block makes sense.
It does save a life, right? It saves one life. I won't have the life loss, but it could be valuable down the track as well.
I just tend to not break the chain a lot, so you're probably not going to be able to use it this twice on a combat chain.
Very true. Actually, we're not. We're just going to take 3 down to 13.
Okay.
I want to turn that skull cap on at some point.
Yeah. That's what I was thinking about last time. I was like, okay, so because last turn I was like, oh, if you block this arcane, you lose your arsenal. You also potentially you get me closer to turning on my skull cap, and you don't give yourself the awakening out. I was like,
yeah,
I was on your side.
We might be in a bit of a race situation. I'm going to go ahead and on our turn, we're going to pitch to crown. So,
okay, I might respond to crown
sure.
here.
That's not ideal. Arc Light would be a nightmare right now.
No. I'll get more info. You're good.
Okay. I actually could have crowned on your turn. The reason I didn't is I actually thought I might have made a slightly different play using the tunic rather than using this card. But yeah, so I could have saved a life there, which is not ideal. Okay, we're going to come in with Oak and Old, no fuse for 7.
At me?
Yeah, at you. Yeah, we're just going to try and pressure here.
Does my friend have a blink? Surely, right? All right, we'll take 7.
I have an attack reaction.
Sure.
We're going to play Pummel on this Oak and Old, red Pummel. So take it up to 11, and we're going to have the on-hit effect from Pummel.
I'll respond to your Pummel, sir.
Yep, no worries.
I'll play Merciful Retribution, and then I'll pitch and play a Prismatic Shield.
That might be worst case scenario for us here, team.
I don't think I could imagine anything worse.
Couldn't draw it up any better. So, okay. So we're going to be coming in for 11. 8 is going to come through. 3 shields going to die. And then we're going to have
6 arcane.
So it's going to be 6 arcane, but it's actually if I for each one of those I lose a life. So they're representing 12 damage here. So we're gonna do what we can. We're gonna prevent 1 of the merciful triggers. So then there's still 5 merciful triggers, and we're gonna lose a life for each of those.
Just take 10.
Take 10 down to 3.
And I'm taking 8.
Yep, down to 11.
Down to 11.
I was feeling like it was kind of close until then.
All right. So over to my turn?
Yeah, pass the turn.
Awesome. So usually I would swing with another aura to distribute my counters off of shimmers, but because Hayden has the Crater Fist here, it's an easy 2-block for him. So although swinging with Haze Bending is probably just going to get the absorption from Crown of Seeds, I'm still going to go ahead and swing for 3 here.
Well, it is not going to do that. As it turns out, I think I need to get a little bit of luck on my side here. We're going to go ahead and defend with the tunic and the Crater Fist here. Pick up the 3.
All right, I will pass.
Okay, to me. All right, start of turn. Bravo, revealing red Autumn's Touch, red Lightning Surge, and blue Winter's Bite.
Sure.
Then. So I would have crowned and just used Crater Fist on that turn, but I needed to keep this blue, the only blue we have to reveal. So now I can go ahead and activate Crown.
Okay, I'll respond to your Crown activation.
Okay, sure.
I'm going to play Arc Light Sentinel, pitching Parable, and Mirage, and using Tunic.
Yep. I dare you to draw it up better than this for our young Prism player. All right, draw a card.
So many auras.
You still have a card in hand?
Yeah, I still have a card in hand.
Not good. Very, very bad for us. We're going to play... Oh, yeah. We're going to play out Channel Lake Frigid, paying the 2 remaining resources. Then, we'll do the only thing we can do, which is we'll play this Lightning Surge and come in at the Arclight Sentinel.
Cool.
And
Trigger
then,
my... Actually, it goes to Soul. So we got a lot of triggers here. We've got 2 Merciful triggers. We have a Haze Bending trigger.
Yep.
So yeah, we go to Soul and we create Spectral.
Yep, so the Haze Bending first, and then the 2 Mercifuls. I'm going to pitch the 2 reds we own right here. And prevent the 2 Sources of Arcane, which then stops the Ode to Wrath trigger. Numbering Boots coming in, maybe clutch. And we'll pick up this channel, putting the Winter's Bite on the bottom.
Sounds
and then
good.
Pass the turn.
Yeah, so unfortunately,
You got
well,
the
if I
yellow?
had the yellow, well, I couldn't because you have CLF, right, as well, I think. But I do not have the yellow anyway. My tunic's at 1. I will. Let's see. You have Crater Fist. Okay, yeah, we're definitely just gonna swing Haze Bending here for 4.
Yeah. Go ahead and defend for 4.
Cool. I will pass the turn.
All right. Back to me.
Back to you,
No
sir.
Bravo.
Okay.
Right.
All
Alright,
good.
how can we...
All good turn start with no Starvo.
Yeah. So just trying to think through how we could win this game. It has a lot of auras over there. I think it requires Brendan bricking and then us drawing dominated hand.
It is a good thought experiment with how close we are to 0% right now. Because, like, even if you draw that hand, right, you're going to have to be able to prevent. You need 2 resources or be able to prevent 2 arcane damage as well. Actually, you need to prevent 1, to be fair. Of course, I have armor.
So I'll come in with Winter's Whale at the Merciful Retribution.
Coming in with Winter's Whale at the Merciful Retribution. Okay. So we're going to walk through some triggers. Let's go ahead and trigger the Haze Bending first.
Sure. Yep.
Then I believe we have 2 Merciful triggers now.
Yep. I'm going to pitch this Channel Lake Frigid and prevent both with Narrow Boots.
Cool. 2 ice cards.
2 ice cards. So I'll pass the turn, tick up Channel Lake Frigid, and these will both go to the bottom.
Sure.
Your turn.
Tunic up.
Okay.
And so Channel Lake Frigid, it affects Prism's ability, right?
Yep, it's all activated abilities and cards.
I'll pitch 3 to banish.
Yep.
Every time I swing, will it cost me 1?
It will indeed.
All right. Well, I'm going to go ahead and start off with a swing for 5.
Okay, so you have 1 card in hand, 1 card in arsenal, right?
I have 2 cards in hand.
2 cards. Greedy. All right, we're going to start by crowning.
Yep.
Pitching this pummel. Okay. Coming in for 5.
No resources.
Go ahead and defend for 6 here.
Cool. Pitch a yellow to come in for 1 with Ode to Wrath. 1 resource.
Sure. No defense, crown will soak that up for me.
Sure. Swing with Shimmers.
All right, no resources left.
Yep, no resources.
Let's go ahead and pitch Winter's Bite for Rampart, defend for 1.
Cool. And we'll come in for 1 with Merciful. 1 resource.
We'll defend for 3.
All right, and we only have 1 resource left, so we will just swing with 1 Spectral Shield here.
Yep. So can't defend that one, so it's going to take 1, and then Ode's going to do another one. So down to 1.
Down to 1.
You're writing on the wall here. Okay. My turn, we will lose this Channel Lake Frigid and just pass back. Maybe Brendan doesn't draw a yellow. Who knows? Who knows?
Tunic up on my turn. I wonder if I don't draw the yellow, do I lose?
Definitely.
Banish this.
Sure.
Yeah, sure. Okay. We'll swing with Ode for 2.
Yeah, so we can pitch, activate Rampart, or we can just block with pitch this Awakening because it doesn't defend, and then we can defend with 3 cards. We don't have Crown, so we can prevent the first 4 attacks, but then the last 3 on that shield are going to get us, so that's going to be game. All right, whenever me and Brendan play games on camera, we always like to break down the game afterwards and talk about some of the pivotal points and some of the key moments in the game. But first of all, just a big thank you to Legend Story Studios and Fab TCG for inviting us on to do this series. We'll be back again next week with another gameplay featuring 2 top decks in the meta. But Brendan, that game, very interesting. I think from my side, I might talk first about the gameplay. In this matchup, you can see Bravo, and I talked about it earlier, the difference between the Bravo Star of the Show turns and the turns where maybe we don't get to activate Bravo Star of the Show. And from my side, I felt, if we could maybe have gotten a couple more, or maybe we got a blink turn, maybe we could have controlled those auras a bit more. But we talked about at the start, right? How do you beat Prism? How do you play into Prism? You got to control those auras. Brendan talked a lot about it. And unfortunately, we weren't able to do that. So that allowed Brendan to just kind of take over the board state, take over the game. And from our side, we had a couple of turns with Bravo, and that allowed us to come in and then maybe break an aura or two. But in the end, that merciful into the Arclight Sentinel turn with the Prismatic Shield was just too much for us to deal with, and we just couldn't quite come back from it. Up until that point, though, I felt like we were putting on some good pressure. So I do think it is all about putting on pressure, putting on those on-hit effects, and then getting in with that second attack to try and break those auras and just control the Prism as much as possible. What about from your side, Brendan? How did you feel about the game? What were the kind of key points for you?
Yeah, it was. We had a back and forth game, and then we were able to develop the board state. So as you can see, my arsenal here, I was actually playing 2 fractal replications in this list, which is very not standard. But I did want to show off some new cards from Everfest. You saw it in probably one of its best use cases, which is on the right after a Miraging Metamorph. Because with the cards that I have in hand, Hayden simply doesn't have enough information to reliably be able to pop this. I also had a Haze Bending, I think, on the field that time, so he was guaranteed to kind of lose out on that trade. So the fractal came in really nice for us. But yeah, I think you can probably play it. You can probably play 2, just because you really can't break Miraging Metamorph. It's so dangerous. Hayden and I had played a game before where we had broken it, and then I could do something like a double Merciful Retribution. It's crazy. I want to talk about the armor. So Arcanite Skullcap and Ironhide Gauntlet. It's definitely a conversation, right? I'm not running Tome in this list, but I think you can run the new Crown as well as potentially Dreamweavers or something of that nature. This armor, especially the Arcanite Skullcap, is really there for when you need it, because there are going to be games where you're going to have to come back from on the back foot. I feel like this game, as the Prism player, we were the aggressor pretty much the entire time. There's going to be games versus Starvo where it won't be like that. Maybe you're going second, whatever it is. So that's more of an insurance package, but I think that there's tons of, there's an option to play the Crown here. And yeah, maybe Dreamweavers, but I don't think so. Yes, you can see that we're not playing the Vestige of Soul. And again, once you take out that Tome package, I do find that Fandel Spring Tunic is a bit better in the shell, especially because we do have so many just straight illusionist cards. Mm-hmm. So I'm really liking that switch so far. Yeah, Hayden, what do you think of the new Prism kind of aura deck? It seems like it finally is realizing its full potential, because it existed in Monarch and Tales of Varia, but it kind of felt like just wasn't quite fully fleshed out, and I feel like we've seen the final form per se.
Yeah, it's really powerful. I like Tunic because you can pitch a blue plus Tunic to get those yellow auras into play, which is really nice. So I think the deck is in a really solid spot right now. I think both Bravo and Prism are great picks heading into ProQuest. Our lists will be available, so you can go pick those up. And thank you to the players who, these lists we took from, who won ProQuest over the weekend. Last thing I wanted to say on, this matchup, just to recap some of the key points in this matchup. I think turn 1, double aura, very powerful from Prism's side and can really help with this matchup. Being able to get a hit on auras and then being able to really put pressure on the off turns with Bravo is really important from my side. So yeah, Brendan, good game in the end. I'm sure we'll run it back, and we'll continue to play this matchup, and we'll be back next week with another matchup.
Awesome.